Yes, hello everyone, Fáilte Rashkity Cúilín Media. Welcome back for another weekend review show. We have another full house and we have action from all four codes of Gaelic games across all of the divisions. Plenty to get through. But Matthew, I'm going to throw it over to you first. Happy Cork, man. I mean, pretty good weekend for the Rebels. Less than none of the others beating Meath. What a win that is.
It's fantastic. And I suppose nobody would have fancied Cork being in a promotion yard except a person sitting right here, because I predicted it on Cúilín Media that we would go up. But yeah, look, it's fantastic. It's fantastic for the group, and to beat today. Look, there was a stage of the game, Ian Maguire getting sent off, and I was thinking, here we go again. We're not going to get over the line, but they gritted their teeth. It was a fantastic win, and yeah, it was unbelievable. The atmosphere around Páirc Uí Rinn as well, and we're seriously now in a promotion charge. Like the fact that Tyrone lost to Louth as well, crazy results. Look, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Look, it's brilliant to be looking up rather than looking down. I'll put it that way, because we have been looking over our shoulder over the last few seasons, and a lot of people have been questioning Cork football and where it's going. But I can tell you, it's going one way and it's going up.
Absolutely. So, Aaron, on the flip side, myself and yourself went to Croker. With Dubs had a mixed bag this weekend. Of course, the Camogie team lost to Down. The footballers lost to Kerry. The LGFA team, though, got off the board against Kildare with a victory in Parnell Park. And the Hurlers played out a thrilling draw against Wexford. So, much more of a mixed bag for us this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think we're relieved we got the draw versus Wexford in the end, because had we have lost that game, then I think mathematically promotion would have been gone and off the table. So it would have been done and dusted, really. And then obviously, yeah, losing to Kerry was a very, very drab, poor game. Very boring. Wasn't really a whole lot happening. Just felt like Kerry were comfortable. But look, at least for anyone who went into the hurling game, it was hugely entertaining. I had everything: penalties, red cards, black cards, very questionable refereeing decision in there as well. A big fight at the end of the game as well. Big scuffle. The guards getting involved. The managers even wanted to go at one point.
That's a question straight here from Peter saying, Seamus down, what happened with Neely O'Callaghan and Keith Rossiter after the game? From what I could see, it was there was one decision in particular. Owen O'Donnell was 100% fouled right in front of Neil O'Callaghan, no free given, and then Wexford got given a free out for some really soft tackling straight after. And I think O'Callaghan absolutely lost the head when that happened, because he was like, we're getting decisions put against us. Also, I noticed Keith Rossiter was not staying in his technical area at all. He kept breaking it. He kept going onto the pitch. He kept going into the middle of the field. He kept going right up beside Dublin's technical area. I think O'Callaghan was like, mate, can you get back over to where you're supposed to be? And the two of them then end up head to head. Pure passion. But the one thing that I will say about it is both of them shook hands at full time. There was no shit talk at full time. And both of them then in the media have done their bit to squash it. So, look, a bit of heat of the moment stuff. And the reality is, Liam, it adds a bit of spice into the Leinster Championship now. So nothing wrong with that as far as I'm concerned.
No, absolutely not. No, I laugh half the time, because you sometimes hear commentators or people in the media saying, oh, we don't want to see this, we don't want to see that, it's not good for the game. I think it's what makes the game exciting. Do you know what I mean? It's probably one of the reasons why maybe even soccer hasn't been as fun to watch over the last couple of years, because there's no scuffles, or there's no, like, what do they call it, hard men or Barclays or anything like that. You know, we want to see passion from managers and players, and we want to see scuffles and, you know, them going at each other and everything like that. And look, at the end of the day, they'll all be best friends at the end of it. Sure, some of them could be, you know, teaching their sons in the future, or they could be fixing their plumbing next week or something. You know, it's such a normal world in GEA. So no, I don't mind it at all. I think it's absolutely brilliant to see. And for me, I say, bring more of this. I absolutely love it. I mean, we could have thrown a referee in there, maybe. I know, Seamus, you're a fan of UFC. We could have thrown yourself in there, maybe.
Of course.
Great stuff. Love it.
Yeah, Ryan here saying Dublin complaining about a ref. Funny how last year we didn't see this with a ghost goal decision. Well, all of us said that it was a terrible decision, even though it went in the favour of Dublin. No bias, it was a terrible decision. But still, there were some bad decisions given against Dublin. I think definitely the worst decision was Conor Groark ending up sent off, because Conor Groark was fouled before he put in the tackle on the Wexford player. So he should have got a free, and then he wouldn't have got a second yellow, and he wouldn't have got sent off. So that was the moment where the game pivoted. But I definitely think we won't get into that game too much, but I definitely think that sets the table perfectly for a Leinster meeting between Dublin and Wexford, because I do think, especially over the last few years, those games have taken on more and more meaning because whoever wins them tends to get out of Leinster then between Dublin and Wexford. Now, obviously, the landscape is under review with Offaly coming to the fore. Like that's another candidate for that third spot to get out of Leinster. But those games will always take on huge significance. And we're going to run it the same way that we ran previous episodes, the previous weekend preview, lads. I'm going to give you each the lead with certain games, and then if any of you want to ask questions to the other, or if anyone watching the live show wants to get involved in the live chat, let us know your questions, highlights in the weekend, anything in particular you want us to talk about, drop it in the live chat, as the lads have been doing. Big shout out to them. Anyone who's got involved in the live chat so far, we've so much to get through. But I'm going to throw this one first to you, Liam. Armagh 19 points, Donegal 120 is where we're going to start. In the athletic grounds, Jimmy keeps winning matches. Donegal's 100% record stays intact. They go away to the athletic ground and beat Armagh. And we were having this debate. A lot of us were talking about, Armagh should probably win this, everything like that. I think someone was with me saying that Donegal, I couldn't see Donegal resisting the urge to kick Armagh closer to relegation. I thought they'd put out almost a stronger hand, because not only have they won the game, they got a lot of their new blood onto the field, the likes of Shane Malone. So all in all, great day out for Jimmy's men.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's kind of frustrating from my perspective, because I did predict Armagh to come second, and especially after the defeat against Galway, I was sitting there thinking, okay, I think I might be sort of right with this prediction, because I felt that they should have beaten Galway, and they always had the big win over Monaghan on the opening day. But since then, I mean, the performance against Roscommon was simply not good enough, and again today, poor enough at home to Donegal, to be honest with you. Like, I mean, even judging off Cúilín, the football genius, obviously I was seeing his match reaction. Obviously he's going to be a lot more passionate about it, being from Armagh, but he was not happy with the performance at all, and he's very rightly saying that, to be honest with you. Armagh were nowhere near the level of Donegal today, to be honest with you. Like, the Donegal full forward line were absolutely fantastic. They kicked 9 points. You can't have a full forward line on the opposition team doing that. That's sort of criminal. You had Michael Langan scoring 3 points from midfield as well, dominating the midfield with Hugh McFadden. That's a very nice looking midfield, to be fair. Might be something that Jimmy might be looking for the remainder of both the league and maybe even going into the championship as well. You have the two O'Donnells performing well in the half forward line. Kieran Moore obviously got some good minutes under his belt as well. I think he played 65 minutes or something like that. So, yeah, and like you mentioned there, brought on a couple of players as well, bringing them to the party. Donald McGiola, I hope I pronounced that right. And Paul O'Hare as well.
Penalty.
Sorry?
And the penalty awarded to Armagh from Pat Gallagher here looked an outrageous call at the game. So, like, a lot of people have been split on this, but is it almost justice that Mulroney saves it?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it was a penalty, to be honest with you. And I suppose, yeah, like that old saying, karma, it's come back to bite them, and he obviously missed it. Sometimes, when you get that feeling of, you feel like it shouldn't be a penalty, but you just have that feeling inside you, this lad's not going to score it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. But look, I think regardless, even if he did score that, I think Donegal were still going to win this game. They were the much better side. They were in control as the game was ticking along. And yeah, it's a very, very impressive win for them. And Jimmy's going for the league this year, unlike last year where he just completely gave up down in Pearse Stadium against Galway. This year he's going for the league. He wants a national title and to kick off the year with a bit of success going into the remainder of 2026. So yeah, great win for Donegal. Armagh are in serious trouble now. I mean, 3 defeats in a row is very, very damaging from their perspective, and they still have Kerry to play, don't they? And they've Dublin to play, and is it Mayo they have to play as well? Like, they've 3 very, very tough games to come, especially with the way Mayo are playing at the moment. Dublin will be fighting for their lives as well, so they'll be up for that. And I mean, Kerry will want to try and get back on the high horse after, kind of being underwhelming to a sort as well during the course of the campaign. They might be getting players back towards the end of the league as well. So yeah, things aren't looking great for McGeeney's men. That's for sure.
I noticed as well at full time that he was having a lengthy word with Jim McGuinness. So Matthew, I'll throw this one to you now. Like, this year, McGeeney seems that like after every game, he seems to be irritated or annoyed more than we've seen him in previous years. Is this like a sign that things aren't great? I know that it's like, but whenever managers are coming out and constantly annoyed about this and that, and at full time with Jim, there seemed to be like not a problem, but like they were having a longer discussion than you usually see managers having in those handshakes at the end of games. And it didn't seem 100% friendly.
When has it ever been not friendly between Kieran McGeeney and Jim McGuinness? Ever since the days of 2011 with Kildare and Donegal.
Yeah.
So look, I don't think both managers have seen eye to eye, to be fair. I think maybe Kieran McGeeney's kind of frustrated with the way the league season has gone, because like the second round against Galway, we discussed it in length in this podcast, that Armagh deserved to win that game, and if they didn't start fisting the ball over the bar each and every time, and if they had more of a ruthless streak, they would have won that game. Likewise, in every other game, there was some positive shoots in the likes of Ross McQuillan and Jardy O'Byrne's performances, but the fact now they've only got 2 points out of a possible 8, maybe it's a bit of frustration for McGeeney. And as well as that, in the off-season with Rian O'Neill leaving the panel, Niall Grimley as well, obviously Rory Grugan, key players. But like you would imagine, like you look at Armagh's performances and you said that the players are stepping up, the players that have stuck around are stepping up and trying to replace these sorts of players. But there is a bit of discontent in the cast. Stephen Stupy Campbell obviously retiring in the off-season as well. And interestingly, he was saying on GA Plus The View actually that he was mentioning the losses of Rian and the likes of Rory Grugan and Niall Grimley and all these players. And I'm thinking, those players are gone now. Surely Armagh should be looking forward. Like, you have some excellent players at your disposal. Why aren't you looking at those sorts of players rather than looking at the past? It's almost like not an exact carbon copy of it, but it's almost like a copy of Derry last year, where the managers were going on about the previous managerial regime and were saying, let's go back to the good old days. And you're like, you can't keep looking back and expecting good results. You have to keep looking forward, keep looking at the positives, if you can say positives out of anything. And I just feel like while Armagh have some positive shoots in them and some good performances, the negativity kind of outweighs the positivity, which is always a problem, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely well said there. I've just noticed it that after each one of Armagh's defeats, he's kind of made a headline in the press conference after the game, or he's had the weird moment that he had with McGuinness at full time. But yeah, so it's an interesting one to look at. We've a lot of great comments here, a lot of great questions. We appreciate them all, guys. Please keep them coming. Aaron, I'm going to throw them to you. He says, so lads, who do you go with in goals for the championship, Maureen or Patton? That's a really, really good question, lads. Really quick in a word, would you go Patton or Maureen? I'd probably still shade it to Patton, but would anyone here go Maureen now? Has he done enough?
I think it's still early. To be honest with you. I probably would still edge it towards Patton as well. But to be honest with you, I think they're both brilliant goalkeepers, and I think it's a great headache to have. Like, I know the problems like with Dublin and our goalkeepers at the moment, so to have the option of both of them, like that's some going.
Yeah, absolutely. And the more questions that we have here, Shane Heff here saying, is there any danger that Donegal will peak too soon? Obviously, it's a different approach that they took last season. Pat Gallagher also adding in saying, if Jason McGee stays fit, huge if Donegal will win. Sam, he's not their best player, but is their most important. And he was absolutely superb this season without question.
Absolutely, yeah. Like I think it's one of them from a Donegal perspective. Like there probably is still another level for them to go up on. Like, they've won 4 games from 4, but Michael Murphy hasn't played. Hasn't started. He's obviously been coming off the bench. They've been introducing new players like Conor McCahill. Jason McGee's come back in, so it's been brilliant from Donegal to have 4 wins from 4, but like I still think there's another level to go up on. The depth of their panel as well, like the options that they now have in terms of players that they can bring off the bench. So yeah, like in terms of peaking too soon, like it's probably one of them where don't be surprised for the last 1 or 2 games of the league where they might drop off just a little bit, just slightly. Potentially if there's 1 or 2 dead rubbers there. But I think for the league final and then going into Ulster, they'll absolutely step it up again. And let's not forget as well, with all due respect to Down, like that's who they play in the quarterfinal of the Ulster Championship. And look, the preparation, they'll bring big preparation for that game. But I don't think they will be going absolutely hell for leather in that game, as for example what they were at the start of Ulster last year.
I could see Jim trying to go at that one a little bit more of a let's get the job done and then manage it out rather than go full whack for it. I do think down will cause him a lot of problems, but it will be interesting to see how he approaches it. Gaelic guy here saying another game where we could have got something despite not deserving anything. Peter here saying game 7 or 8, Jimmy might pull back, but all out for the league win. Interestingly enough, that means that Donegal still remain completely perfect in their league campaign, and clearly their switch has changed. They are going for the league, and Kerry must have shown them the way with last season, showing them that's not the be-all and end-all if you get over the line. Then you are going to move on to the next game, and what an incredible victory this was for Mayo. And they had a little-known man by the name of Kobe MacDonald playing. Unbelievable result here for Mayo. 2 goals and 30 points to Monaghan's 2 goals and 11 points. Mayo go away to St. Tiernack's Park in Clonus and hammer Monaghan by 230 to 211, back on the winning streak. And Kobe MacDonald came off the bench to hit a goal and 4 points, reminding us all just how good he is, as if we ever forgot. The AFL are getting some player. Mayo have some player in the future for when he does play in the championship. But Matthew, in general, the Mayo machine, it's ticking along very, very nicely.
Yeah, to be fair, Kobe getting 1-4 off the bench is sensational. I know Monaghan are the best right now in terms of form. Some person actually put this argument to me, and I'd love to get your opinions on this, lads. Are Monaghan the worst ever team to go up to Division 1? They have 0 points on the board. They don't seem to be putting up to anybody either. And to be fair, they look pretty toothless in all their games so far. But putting that to the side, I think Mayo have been absolutely superb, and Kobe off the bench was brilliant in hitting 1-4. And the other players as well, you could argue the supporting cast in terms of the players that aren't mentioned as much. Fergal Boland was brilliant with 5 points. Jordan Flynn as well with 5 points. Dara Byrne. To be fair, Dara Byrne, that's 2-9 from play, I think, in the league so far for him. That's sensational. I think he has been absolutely on fire in this league campaign for Mayo, and he has been a guy that's really shown an underage for Mayo, other than Kobe, of course. Like, the attention would obviously go to Kobe because of the brilliance that he has. But Dara Byrne isn't far behind him in terms of quality. I think he's a sensational corner forward. Aidan O'Shea getting 1-1 as well. Dewey's confidence the word of good. Ryan O'Donoghue getting 4 points as well. Jack Harney getting 2 and Paddy Durkin. So, look, I think it was a brilliant result for Mayo. They'll definitely eye up a league final against probably Donegal. It was a very, very good result. To win by 19 points on any given day is absolutely sensational. But I would question the opponents and where Monaghan football are going. Like, the injuries, the off-season retirements, I think they're going one place, and unfortunately, that's down to Division 2.
Yeah, I think you have to agree with it now. Like, having seen not only the fact that they're losing, but the way they're losing is shocking. Like, I did not think that they would lose like that. Cúilín, the football genius, former guest on the show, and definitely will be on in the future as well, hopefully. Cúilín saying, thought we were embarrassing in a way today. Lack of intensity, confidence, speed, goals and clubs killed us. Donegal completely outclassed us. Armagh in a really bad spot at the minute, and that is from as passionate an Armagh man as you'll meet. Anyway, but like, we'll move back to the Monaghan Mayo game. Monaghan also in a bad spot. Gaelic guy here saying embarrassing for Monaghan, but brilliant win and performance for Mayo. And Ryan Gallagher also said Monaghan smoked us, Roscommon that is, in the league final last year. What a free fall. Tommy Healy says we'll take the win, but Monaghan played like a team already relegated. Monaghan are given up, I think. Like, Aaron, there's a lot of negativity suddenly around Monaghan, and that comment from Ryan is perfectly captures it. Like, Roscommon flying it, and yet in the Division 2 final last year, Monaghan were clearly the better team. So what's happened?
Yeah, it's hard to kind of know, to be honest with you. Like, I mean, there does seem to be, like, even Ryan's kind of alluding to it there as well about Rory Beggan in terms of him being injured. Like, he didn't feature in this game, so it is interesting to see. You'd imagine it would be an injury, because why else would he not, be in the... I don't even think he was in the panel at all. But even the likes of Jack McCarron, Conor McCarthy, as far as I know, now correct me, lads, if I'm wrong, but I don't think they've come back for Monaghan just yet as well, which is a little bit surprising.
Yeah.
Now, again, I don't know.
As well as another one.
Yeah, like, I don't know, like, if there's injuries there, maybe there's other circumstances as to why they're not playing. I'm not entirely sure, but you would imagine if there was a time to bring them back, it would be this game, because they're gone now. But look, if they had won this game, then maybe there would have been a chance. But yeah, like it is worrying how much they're conceding. Like they conceded 230 versus Mayo.
Well, look at this Gaelic guy here, minus 41 score difference after 4 games is shocking. Like that is terrible.
It's horrendous, yeah. Like they conceded 127, I think, versus Armagh on the opening day. They conceded 118 versus Dublin, which look isn't much, but when you see what Dublin are scoring, I mean Dublin scored 110 versus Kerry.
That's a cricket score for us right now, mate.
You know what I mean? So technically that's actually a lot to concede. You know, like so yeah, they're conceding loads, and they don't seem to have much going the other way. Even when Began was playing, he wasn't playing his usual stuff in terms of the way Monaghan were playing, and I don't know if it's a case of second season syndrome. It's very similar, I think, actually, to when Vinnie Corey was manager. Vinnie Corey's first year got a big boost out of Monaghan. Things were going really, really strong and well. And then in a second season in Division 1, they absolutely like free fall. They completely collapsed. Coincidentally, they actually won their opening game in that season against Dublin, but after that, it was a complete free fall. And this seems to be the same.
Definitely is worrying, Liam, isn't it, when you look at it, how poorly they are performing? Because again, we were talking about it, it's the way they're losing games. They're not in the contest at all.
No, and like you compare that to them last year in Division 2, and especially the way they won the Division 2 final against Roscommon, the level is absolutely nowhere near that at the moment. And obviously you mentioned the 127 against Armagh, 126 of that came from play. I think that probably should have been the alarm bell from the very start, that Monaghan are going to struggle this year. And like I predicted them to finish fourth in the league, and I just thought they might get a bit of a bounce this year. They did relatively well last year, got promoted from Division 2. I felt did very well in both the Ulster Championship and the All-Ireland series. We're unlucky not to beat Donegal twice, in my opinion, to be honest with you. But it's just been such a fall off right now. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like Aaron said there, even conceding the 118 against Dublin, like you two lads obviously know it better than I do, but like Dublin have not been performing this year. So that was probably the one result as well that really hurt them. It probably said to them, we're down, and that's that. But to be conceding 230 and 127 at home is bad. Do you know what I mean? Whatever about the Roscommon game, whatever about Dublin and Croke Park, concede, like, I'm just trying to do the maths quickly in my head. That's 357 in 2 games against Mayo and Armagh. That is scandalous, to be honest with you.
230 is a baffling scoreline to concede. 230 is like, what the fuck was going on there? Like, who was marking who? Like, how much are these people scoring?
230 would be mad in hurling. Never mind in Gaelic football. But I also have to give Mayo a lot of credit, because what's the one thing we complained about Mayo a lot last year? 2-pointers.
Yeah.
Yes, or I was about to say yesterday. Today, absolutely the opposite issue. I think I counted, was it 6 2-pointers they kicked today? I could be wrong. It could have been 5, but I think it was 6. That is unbelievable. That is a sensational return. They've finally got some players who are taking these. It's not even about even scoring them. They're taking them on now. They want to actually go and attempt these 2-pointers, which was what was nearly pissing me off watching them last year, because you feel they have the players that are capable of doing this, and now they're finally doing it. So that's a positive from Mayo, and it's a positive. I think that comes from having the likes of Andy Moran as a manager, who just knows how to kick the ball over the bar. He's just saying to them, just go and do it. It's not rocket science. You're capable of doing it. You're inter-county footballers. And, I mean, look at them now. They've 3 wins out of 4, and their 1 defeat came against Donegal, which at this point, you might as well not count that, because everyone's losing to Donegal at the moment. But, yeah, no, sensational win for Mayo, for Monaghan. I'd love to say we're going to see them next year in Division 2, but I'll be in Division 3. So, yeah, I don't know. They'll be in Division 2, but, yeah, it's a very tough campaign for them.
He's certainly a Gaelic guy here with a great comment. He says Monaghan could really struggle in Division 2 next year if Dublin or Armagh go down with them. Down will be in there. Tyrone look like they might still be in there the way that they're going. We'll come to their game. Meath could still be in there, depending on how results go. Derry could still be in there. Kildare, like, Division 2 next year is going to be a shark tank. Like, it's going to be absolutely ridiculous. So there is absolutely no guarantees that they bounce straight back up. No guarantees at all. So really, really interesting. Liam, can I throw it back to you for a comment as well on just how good Mayo are moving? Like, because not only that, you're talking about the new breed that they've got in. Matthew, you mentioned Dara Byrne and how good he looks. But then on top of that, you've got like Paddy Durkin, I thought looked really sharp today. You've got Jordan Flynn now, who's fully established at wing forward as one of the spiritual leaders of this team. They're a really nice mix now.
It's a very nice mix, and it's also going to make the Connacht Championship so much more interesting this year, because I don't feel like Galway are firing on all cylinders at the moment. Roscommon bet them last night. They're moving very well in the championship at the moment, and I believe they still have a lot of their Bridges players to come back, don't they? Or am I mistaken in that? Did any of them play last? I don't know off the top of my head, but it'll make the Ulster Connacht Championship really, really interesting. I'm actually really looking forward to it now in the summer. And yeah, look, Mayo are moving very, very well. Look, it is still early days, but Andy Moran is bringing about a really nice panel, especially, like, obviously the talk will be Colby MacDonald, but I agree with Matthew. Darragh Byrne, for me, I really like the look of him. I've liked the look of him the last year or two. I think he's going to be a savage player for them. Fergal Boland, I mean, he's a great dual player, but by God, he's very much needed in this in the team for the footballers. Jordan Flynn, who frustrated me last year a lot with his kind of refusal to go for 2-pointers. He kicked one today, got 5 points from play. Whisper it quietly, Mayo will 100% be hunting down a Connacht title, and who knows, maybe we could be seeing Mayo back in an All-Ireland final sooner than we think. But then again, I could be saying this, and they could lose every game now for the remainder of the year, knowing Mayo. But we'll stay optimistic about them for the moment.
Mayo for Sam.
No.
Whisper quietly. I'm only messing, but they are in a great position. I think with Andy Moran, they've nailed it in terms of the appointment. His backroom team is really, really solid. And the way that they're going about building this team, even like the addition of Rob Henley back in goal, now they have a goalkeeper who can boom over those 2-pointer frees. Like, that's a great weapon to add into the arsenal. Like, there is no question about it. They are moving really, really well. I'd be excited by this team if I was a Mayo fan. Anyway, we're going to move on now, keeping it Connacht teamed. Roscommon continued their superb streak. They go away to Pearse Stadium and they beat Galway 216 to 21 points. Once again, it was the Dara Craig and Diarmuid Murtagh show. They combined for 112 as the Rossies made it 3 wins in a row away in Pearse Stadium. They beat rivals Galway. Aaron, they are absolutely flying it now.
They absolutely are, yeah, and I think I'll look forward to watching the highlights on League Sunday, because the fact this game, I know I was at the Dublin Kerry game anyway. This game was on the same time, so I wouldn't have been able to watch it anyway if this had been on TV. But yeah, incredible, really. Like, they were 13 points down at one point for Roscommon, and they managed to turn it around. Obviously, the winds and the conditions and everything else kind of played a massive factor, but it's been an incredible start for Roscommon. 3 wins from 4. Arguably should have beaten Kerry on the opening day as well. You've got Dara Craig, who's been one of the informed players in the league so far, like 1-7 he ends up scoring. Diarmuid Murtagh outstanding as well. And from looking at Roscommon as well, they kind of do remind me a little bit of how Meath approached things a little bit last year, in terms of they're incredibly attacking, they're outscoring teams, they're hugely focused on 2-pointers. They have multiple different ways that they seem to win games as well. They can absolutely blow you away, or they can come back from the dead as they have. And I think Roscommon are going very strong, and like, say it quietly, but I do think Roscommon might just be in the mix come July.
Are both Roscommon and Mayo arguably ahead of Galway right now? Like, for Connacht, is there an argument to spin it that way?
Still think it's a bit soon, because Galway still have big lads come back, like Paul Conroy and obviously Shane Wall, like bigger kind of players to kind of play on a regular basis, Damien Comer. So I think when they're all fit and fire, and still think Galway are probably there. But look, what you would say is that Mayo and Roscommon are hugely improving. Like, they're bringing through young players, new managers. Like, there's a feel-good factor around both counties. So they're improving and they're growing. Whereas with Galway, we know the heights that they can get to, but can they go above that? I'm not sure. Whereas with Mayo and Roscommon, there does feel like there's a bit more potential with them at the minute.
I think it's fair to say that the gap is closed. Maybe not above the gap that maybe was there a couple of years ago, where Galway were the obvious favourites to go for to win Connacht. I think that gap has closed significantly. We were mentioning at Matthew, we were talking about what happened in terms of Monaghan, that they beat Roscommon fairly handy in the Division 2 final. Now the gap is obviously wide in the other direction, but obviously there's a second part to that coin. What has Mark Dowd and Roscommon, what have they done to get to the level that they're at right now?
To be honest, I think they might have just freed up Dara Craig and Dermot Murta a lot more in the Smith as well. The comment actually mentioned, I think Ryan Gallagher mentioned it, Dara Heenan going off injured early doors of the game. I think it was after 3 or 4 minutes. That was a massive blow to them. I was listening to the game on Galway Bay FM radio, which was quite an experience, I have to say. I think Jonathan Higgins was on commentary and he was complaining about every decision that went against Galway in the second half when things just weren't going their way at all. But to be fair, like Galway were 16 points to 5 up at half time, and wind or no wind in Salt Hill, you were expecting Galway to push on and get the win in the end. Like Liam O'Connell was banging over 2 pointers, got 6 points from playing the first half. Sean Kelly was doing very well as well. And you were thinking Roscommon are in a bit of danger here, but as soon as they got the goals, that's really what made the difference in this one. Darragh Craig getting the second one, obviously, and the Smith getting a crucial one when Galway seemed to have, a control on things going on in the second half against this Rossi side. But they've been absolutely sensational, Roscommon, and even as I said, just freeing up Darragh Craig, Dermot Murta, players to come back, the likes of Ben O'Carroll there as well, even the likes of Kieran Lennon to get the last minute score, the winning score of the game. Like, you have to give him a lot of credit as well for doing the sensible thing in tapping it over the bar. And actually, in the last 2 minutes, Galway, when the hooter was about to go, Galway had the option. Were they going to? I was hearing on the radio, so I have to see League Sunday the exact thing what happened here. But apparently, Galway had the chance to either go for a goal or fist it over the bar to draw it. They went for the goal and they lost the game in the end. Maybe risk is reward at some stages, but maybe at that particular point, Galway would have been better off to fist the ball over the bar. Just get the point of the board. But yeah, Roscommon, what a start to the league campaign for them. And yeah, they'll be definitely up for a Connacht Championship, I'd imagine, with Mayo in good form as well. Galway still have Shane Walsh and Damien Comer to come back fully though. So I wouldn't be discounting Galway just about yet. But yeah, that's a really big result for Roscommon in terms of local rivalries more than anything.
Certainly is, and there's nothing that gets the gravy train running quicker as well than victories in derbies. Liam, did Arsenal win the derby today by any chance? Have you been celebrating? But we won't turn this into a Premier League review show. Anyway,
I had no other wins this weekend. Let me have that one. Come on.
Well, we won the rugby as well, so across the board, we've been doing pretty
Fair
good, apart from GAA. Yeah, but me and Aaron are going to share in your pain. This is going to be a humbling next 5 minutes of the pod, lads. We'll move to the final game from Division 1. This was a tough watch, to be honest. Dublin 1-10, Kerry 1-16 in Croke Park. Kerry come up to the capital and beat the Dubs 1-16-110. Aaron, this, to be honest, it wasn't a great watch, this game. It was live on TG Cahir. Both of us were there in the stadium. You were in the Hill. I was in the Hogan. And yeah, what on earth do we make of this? I think the main thing that I came away thinking about this game is we looked compared, and individually, all of our forwards are very, very good players. Very good players. But collectively, for some reason in this game, we looked toothless. We looked like we had no idea how to get through the Kerry defence, no idea how to get the shots away. And we were so slow and ponderous moving the ball up front. Whereas whenever Kerry got the ball, they were much quicker at getting the ball from defence to attack and much more effective with their shooting.
Yeah, it was really poor, really, I think, from Dublin. It was a poor game, as we were saying. It was a strange game. It was very... I know we'll get onto the hurling a little bit later, but the hurling was just a mental game, and I think everyone was kind of needed to take a few breaths maybe after the hurling, and then we went into the football expecting it maybe to be a bit similar, and Dublin Kerry and the rivalry and everything else, but it just wasn't really that. It felt like Kerry always had us at arm's length, and they were always very comfortable in the game. They defended brilliantly. I felt they had some brilliant moments of individual brilliance from the likes of David Clifford, from Paddy when he came on, from Tony Brosnan as well. And the weird thing about this game is that I actually thought Dublin defensively weren't that bad either. Especially when Sean McMahon came in off the bench. I thought he was brilliant defensively. He kept David Clifford, I think, down to 2 or 3 points. He was absolutely fantastic in regards to that. And yeah, I think from a Dublin perspective, we just struggled. We struggled in terms of creating chances. Once Con went off at half time, as we were kind of saying, that was it for us. We were struggling big time in terms of creating chances, and it was just boring. I think it was just the same old thing with Dublin, not willing to take the 2-pointers on, not wanting to take the 2-pointers on. we would then get ourselves into a position where we haven't been taking 2-point opportunities on all game, and now we need to. So now we're panicking and shooting from all angles, and kickouts as well were really poor. I do think Hugh O'Sullivan needs to be a starting goalkeeper as well. I said this the last day. He needs to be the man in goal, because Evan Comerford, like, he made some horrendous decisions in this game in terms of kickouts, and we were lucky to not have been punished more. I think it might have been Joe O'Connor who hit one wide at one point when he was through on goal. So yeah, worrying signs from a Dublin perspective. And yeah, it doesn't really, it's hard to kind of really know where the solutions are. You're hoping you get Cormac Costello back, you get Con back, you get Con Basquel back. But yeah, we don't seem, like here on Kilkenny as well, like we don't really seem to be getting him involved in the game as much. He scored a brilliant 2-pointer in the first half, and you're kind of thinking, why can't we get him more involved? Paddy Small scores a brilliant 2-pointer at the end of the game, and you're thinking, where was that, and where is it? Do you know what I mean? So it's there's a lot wrong, and I don't know if it's going to get any better anytime soon.
Yeah, I think I said it to my dad at halftime. I go, the dog days are starting. The dog days aren't over. Mikey here saying, is Ger Brennan the right man for the rebuild job? He inherited a Louth team where Mickey Hart already laid the foundation. It's a very, very good point. He inherited a team that not just Mickey Hart, but also good work had been done in the background by the likes of Colin Kelly before. And then, just Mickey leaving the way that he did was a bit of crazy, but Ger Brennan did take on the team really, really well. Look, the reality is, I said it on the preview show, and if you were watching that show, you remember me saying this quote. I know, lads, you remember me saying it, but that quote of, when the only way is down, it's no fun being the pilot. We are not going to win the things that we won in the previous decade, and I think most Dublin fans have grown used to winning Leinster at a canter and then getting to an All-Ireland final. And the reality is, before 2011, Dublin went 15 years without even getting to an All-Ireland final. And the reality is that at under 20 and at minor level, we have been getting outperformed by other counties in Leinster as well. Never mind Ireland. Like Kildare have been outperforming us at under 20 level. Meath have been outperforming us at that level. And Louth have been outperforming us at that level as well last year. So there's a lot of competition coming over the next few years. It's going to be really interesting to see how Brennan navigates this. But in this game, that was worrying, because, to be honest, and jump in, lads, if you think I'm wrong, to me, it looked like Kerry weren't going full pedal to the metal. Like, they looked to me like they were quite lackadaisical themselves. They weren't quite fully at the races themselves. Limo here saying, looking good for Kerry. Shane Ryan, Gavin White, Brino Buglik to come back. Paul Gainey to come back as well. Like, Kerry looking good, Nick. Kid Cuddy here saying, feel like if Con doesn't play, Dublin don't have much else. Keane Dale saying, do you think Shane Walsh is one of the most talented players of all time? Yes, I do. Kid Cuddy also saying, Kilkenny and Howard look shells of their former selves. And now, Aaron, a question directly for the two of us. Do we think Dublin will get relegated or stay up? Now, you put up a tweet saying Dublin and Tyrone in the Tailteann Cup 2027 will be interesting, but do you actually believe that? Are we going down?
I do think we are going down. Look, that tweet was a little bit of a joke, to be honest. I've seen a few people actually getting a bit going through like the technicalities. Like no, I don't think Dublin and Tyrone will actually end up in the Tailteann Cup. But look, to be honest, I do think we will get relegated though. I've been fairly confident all season, up until the Kerry game, that we would be able to turn it around. And part of it was because I didn't think Roscommon were going to be as good as they are. And you're kind of looking at it now and thinking, well, Monaghan are down, so they're done and dusted. But if we don't go down, then who does go down? I know people would maybe look towards Armagh, but look at what Armagh are scoring. Like, I think Armagh, to be honest with you, like some of those goals will go in eventually. And I don't think they have been as bad as what we have been, to be honest. And I think if you had Armagh in Dublin and Croke Park, I think Armagh would win the game, to be honest with you. Maybe the one is Galway. Maybe Galway can get dragged into it, and maybe we could beat Galway on the final day. But yeah, no, I think we will go down, unfortunately.
I think this comment from Liam speaks volumes. He says, as a Kerry fan, it was the first time in 15 years I went into Croke Park without having the fear of God in me when playing Dublin. Strange times. Like if you look at the programme, there isn't the same level of names that would scare the bejesus out of you as an opposition fan. Like where's the Brogans, Connollys, Manions, like these generational players like Brian Fenton, James McCarthy, Jack McCaffrey, like the amount of players that we've lost. Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see. I do still think I wouldn't write us off surviving. I still think that Armagh game is going to be just a straight shoot now at this stage. I think whoever wins that stays up, and I think whoever loses it goes down. And when it's a situation like that, I think you'd be silly to write off either side. I think it's just going to come down to that game, and on the given day, whoever wants it more will stay up. But I don't think getting relegated would be the worst thing in the world. I know that sounds crazy, but if this team is going to need to be rebuilt and going to need to go again with a new look, maybe coming from Division 2 isn't the worst thing in the world. Like, it's worked for plenty of other teams. It's definitely worked for Mayo in the past. It worked for Galway in the past. It's worked for Derry in the past. Like, putting your team together in games where you probably, like, it isn't as cutthroat, I think potentially could be a good thing, but I would rather stay up 100%. But yeah, Kerry won this game. They didn't need to be at 100%. They still got the job done. Even then, I don't think they looked great, but they got the job done and they got the win. And I think for me, it's Donegal and Kerry that look to be ahead of the pack. And Mayo as like a dark horse, I think, to kind of be right behind them, because I really like the look. That's me personally. But we'll see how we move. Matthew, I'm going to throw this one to you and just let you take the floor next. Division 2, round 4, Cork 123, Meath 21. You can say I told you so now.
Exactly. The lads on the left there eating a bit of humble pie, I'd say, the two of them.
Yeah.
Have to say. But look.
I mean, I don't mind Meath losing. I'm perfectly fine with that.
What did I say? I actually can't remember.
I think you were out, Liam, but I think you back off the group, so you were grand.
Oh yeah. You ran away from making that prediction.
Sorry.
But yeah, fantastic, absolutely brilliant. And the biggest compliment over the last few weeks, the biggest compliment I could give Cork was we were comfortable against Offaly and Louth. Biggest compliment I could give today was you couldn't name a man of the match in a good way. Like, every single player were absolutely superb today against Meath. And look, we were 7 points up at halftime with Chris Oak getting the goal and Stephen Sherlock getting a worldly 2-pointer. And then we were going to the dressing room, obviously, up a big bit. But then when Meath get the goal through Owen Frayne, and obviously they start to gain a bit of momentum. And then obviously Cork get a few points here and there, and then the red card happens for Ian Maguire, and you're thinking, oh no, this is not going our way at all. But to be fair, Ian was absolutely brilliant up until that point. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Hopefully League Sunday will clear it up in the replay tonight. But it seemed like he was in a tangle with Adam O'Neill, and he just ended up on the wrong side of it. He'll be missing for the Derry game next week, which is a loss. But look, it was a fantastic display from Cork. Like, yeah, I have to say, Mark Cronin, superb with his two pointers. What I've been saying during the week, probably our most consistent player, either exceptional or very, very solid. Absolutely brilliant today with two pointers in the first half. Stephen Sherlock kicked his points. I thought Chris Oak getting 1-4 from play, absolutely superb. I have to give a mention to Dar Sheedy as well. He was named as number 14 today, but the guy is still eligible for under 20, and he was absolutely superb running up and down. A lot of people talk about Kobe McDonald and the brilliance that he provides for Mayo and the youngster abilities. Dara has been probably carrying Cork underage over the last few years in minor and under 20, but he was absolutely superb at full forward. He was running up and down the pitch. He's only his second ever senior intercounty start, and he was absolutely brilliant. Sean McDonald at wing forward, brilliant as well. Colin O'Callaghan in midfield, and yeah, it was just a brilliant display all over the pitch from a Cork point of view. And again, like, we were 2 points up going down the home stretch. We managed the game very, very well. And what I will say, Meath were doing the same thing as they do throughout the whole season. They were getting their 2-pointed kickers right into contention. But what Cork did, they buckled down on Jack Flynn. They got 2 or 3 men around them. They watched the last few games and they were thinking, no, you're not doing that today, lad. And the ball eventually went to Kieran Caulfield. He mishit it, went short, but I think it was Tommy Walsh or Daniel O'Mahony, one of them two, on the end of the ball at the end of the game, and they made a superb block, and Cork won the game in the end. This result is seismic for Cork football because it does show that there is footballers in Cork. Like the highest amount of points we've had in Division 2 since we went down to Division 2 from Division 1 is 8 points last year. We're now on 8 points with 3 games to go. It's been absolutely brilliant from John Cleary and the lads. And a lot of people wanted John out during the off-season. And I was saying I was one of a few people that said this in the off-season. Look, I see positive shoots in Cork football. We need this guy to stick on at the helm. He was given the chance of a contract extension. The players delegate back to him. I think it's been an absolute superb decision. And look, we're reaping the rewards now. 8 points on the board. We can't do any better. It's superb from a Cork point of view as well. Obviously, huge game against Derry, and obviously that is to follow next week. That's a huge game for us up at Celtic Park. But for now, it's just absolutely brilliant. I can't say anything else, but what a start to the league campaign. It does show potentially Cork football is on the way back up. And yeah, we wouldn't have said that at the start of the season. And as well as that, the few more things, like a stat as well, since Joe Prawley's article on the Irish Independent calling Cork, a bunch of players that get together, Cork have played 6 competitive games. How many have they won? 5. So, maybe Joe should write more articles about us in the Irish Independent, but as well as that, and this is crazy. We'll get onto the Tyrone game in a sec, but if we win one more game in Division 2, Tyrone can't catch us mathematically. That's nuts. I find that absolutely incredible. But look, credit to everybody involved from a Cork standpoint. And the win felt absolutely huge. The videos of the players embracing each other at the end. I see the photo of John Cleary, embracing with Stephen Sherlock at the end as well. I think it is a big result for Cork football. And look, long may the rise continue.
Absolutely, well put. A2 here saying hell of a win for Cork. Wasn't sure they had it in them, but great win, promotion coming their way, and it's deserved. Gaelic guy saying seen it coming, superb win for Cork, promotion is surely incoming. Grand Admiral Dane here saying very worried about Meath's promotion chances. Sean Rafferty is injured, Costello badly injured, Ronan Jones returning though. I don't see us promoted unless we win every other game, which in fairness we could do. Mikey here saying Cork needed that more than Meath, having still to play Derry and Tyrone. Question directly for you now, Matthew, from Daniel Deneen. Says, Matthew, do you think Cork have gotten the right mix of forwards and with work ethic and getting a few scoring?
Absolutely. I think we have playmakers in that area, the likes of Mark Cronin, the scorers as well, and Chris Oak, Sean McDonald, Dara Sheedy. To be fair with Dara, I didn't think he'd start for Cork. I didn't think he'd be on the Cork senior panel. I thought we'd leave him at under 20s this year and leave him grow at his own developmental phase. But to be fair, John has given them the chance. You have to give John Cleary a lot of credit for this. He's given Dara the chance and he's flourished. He's been absolutely superb as well. And when you look at the players that have to come back in, Brian Hurley, David Buckley got a few minutes under the belt as well, which is great to see. Obviously, of Colin Manny and Conor Corbett still on the bench as well. So we do have a lot of options in the forward division this year. The balance that we had with Sherlock, Chris Oak, Sean McDonald as well, Paul Walsh, who isn't necessarily a scoring forward, but I think he wins a lot of ball around the middle of the park. I think we've got the balance absolutely correct as well. And that was from the groundwork done last season when there was a lot of negativity at the start of the season with Sherlock leaving the panel, a lot of injuries and things like that. A lot of players had to step in. But those players that have now stepped in, the likes of Sean McDonald is a prime example of that. The players that have stepped in have stepped up another level this year. And that is a positive from a Cork football standpoint as well. The positive as well, we beat teams that we should be beating in the first 3 rounds, and we batted up by beating an All-Ireland, let's call it a spade, an All-Ireland semi-finalist from last year, very good side of Meath. We beat them. And, we have to give Cork a lot of credit for the way we started this league campaign. It's been brilliant.
Sean Sugar here with the banter question of the night. Says, serious question for Aaron. Are Dublin even a top 3 team in Leinster? I still think we're a top 3 team in Leinster. I think it's in any order. No offense, Liam. I think it's in any order. Meath, Louth, Dublin, whichever way you want to put them. But I think that they're the 3, and then you can rotate them whichever way you have them. But I think they're your top. And coincidentally, they're the last 3 counties to win Leinster. Meath back in 2010, sneaking in there. But Gaelic guy here saying still have to play Cork, Meath, and Offaly. The funniest thing ever is still on the cards. Doubt it. And Peter here saying Meath loud dubs. Now we're going to move on to the next game, but that was an absolutely sensational win for Cork, and it would be very, very hard to see them get promoted. So very hard to see them not get promoted. I need a drink. Division 2, round 4. We're going to move on to the next game. And if you were surprised by how well Cork have done, to me, it's way more of a surprise how much Tyrone are struggling. They've lost again, and Louth have beat them this time away in St. Mary's RD. 115 to Louth, 13 points to Tyrone. Liam, what on earth is going on here with Tyrone?
I'm shocked, to be quite honest with you. And a lot of what we said at the start of the league campaign in terms of thinking Mayo would go down or Roscommon would go down, Tyrone would go back up, it just shows you how crazy of a sport Gaelic games is. Like for Louth, very poor against Cork, lost to Meath. They bet us, but they weren't great, say, in the first half against us. And then they go and beat last year's All-Ireland semi-finalists. That is an unbelievable result. For Tyrone, though, 13 points is a very poor return from them. I know they are still missing a couple of players. And I know, is it Rory Canavan that's gone to Turkey, as his father said?
No, Dara.
Dara, sorry. But yeah, it's just, you do worry for Tyrone. I know it is, as we say, it is only the league. But they're in Division 2. I know Division 2 is not easy, but for a team like Tyrone, their ambition at the start of the year had to simply be, we're going back up. And that's that. And not even just going back up. We're going back up with minimum, 6 wins and maybe a draw or something, or 5 wins and 2 draws or something, dominance. And we've not seen that from them in the slightest. I mean, drawing on the first day against Kildare at home advantage, losing against Derry, which, look, as we'll get onto in a minute, is no shameful thing. But don't you be laughing, Aaron. But then the win against Cavan, albeit like great win, sure. But when you do look at it in hindsight, Cavan obviously had the 2 heartbreaking defeats, if we were to call it that, against Cork and Meath. And they're just not at the races fully at the moment, apart from obviously the winning today, or they weren't last week anyway. For Louth to then go and beat them, very worrying signs for Tyrone, especially going into what is going to be a very competitive Ulster Championship campaign as well. But listen, credit to Louth. I mean, it could have been very easy for them to roll down and, take this defeat today. Everyone's mentioning relegation around them. But in fairness to them now, they're on 4 points. This could do so much for them confidence-wise as well. You had Kieran Downey, who got the only goal of the game for them. Sam Mulroy, I mean, once again, turning up, albeit it was only the 2 points he got for play, and that was the arc that he got, but still coming up clutch when he needed to. Darren McDonnell as well, coming up with 2 points as well in the middle of the park. Craig Lennon is just scoring for fun in this league campaign as well. Another 2 points for him. So yeah, fantastic result for Louth, and I'm delighted to see it because I do like this Louth team, and I like what they have done over the last number of years with their underage structure and the players that they have coming through. And I would like to obviously see them sort of kick on a small bit and be very competitive in the Leinster Championship this year as well, because I think it's good for Leinster football that you have a competitive Louth, Meath, Dublin, Kildare, Westmeath, Offaly, or whatever, But yeah, it's a fabulous result for them. But for Tyrone, I mean, look, they're not getting relegated. I don't think. I think that's too much of an exaggeration. But
they still have to play Meath and Cork.
Yeah. Look, they'll beat us next week. I'm not without being silly or anything. They will beat us next week, but I think they will have enough to maybe potentially stay up. But it's not boding well for them when they're going into a very difficult Ulster Championship campaign, and it definitely won't help them later on in the year, these types of results.
And one thing as well, Seamus, so look at Scorpio there. Darragh Canavan, he hasn't gone to Australia just yet. He will go after the Louth game. He got 6 points out of their 13.
Yeah.
Once he's gone, it's really worrying from a Tyrone point of view, which is kind of shocking. And look at their 15 there. I don't think any of them are bad players from a Tyrone point of view. They're not unknowns. Niall Morgan was in goal. Brian Kennedy was midfield. Con Gilpatrick was centre forward. Owen McAlone was wing forward. Matty Donnelly was full forward. Frank Burns, Ben Cullen, Aidan Clark, obviously Ronan Cassidy. That's talent from a point of view. It's puzzling how this is all toppled down. I'm shocked. I'm as shocked as all of you.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't really get it, to be honest. Stephen Conlon here saying, Tyrone fan here, we just aren't clicking. When the going gets tough, we would have been able to pull it back, but at the minute, it just isn't there. Defence is shaky, badly missing Niall Devlin and Paddy Hampsey. Look, Peter Hart as well, like Ryan Gallagher, Peter Hart is a big loss. I think the ingredient that Peter Hart, Conor Myler, that they added into the team of that kind of transition between defence and attack and being Mr. Versatile and being able to play anywhere, I think that is important, but like they should be going up with the talent that they have, with the players that they have. They should even be, and like, and the reality is right now they're not in the conversation. And if you're going off current form, like they probably will shade the Offaly game, but then they're playing Cork and Meath in their final 2 games with both of those sides chasing promotion. Unless Cork already have it in the bag, I'd back Cork to win that game now based off current form. And then Meath will be chasing it down. So they'll go for that game 100%. It's very possible all of a sudden that Tyrone could go down, Aaron, which is baffling at the start. Like, imagine saying that when we were doing the in-studio pod. It's
mental, yeah. Like, I remember people giving us stick for saying that Tyrone wouldn't win the league, like for saying that Tyrone would lose in the league final. That's how mental it is. Is Tyrone Cork the last game of the league?
Yeah.
What's mad about that is, remember at the start of the league, we were saying, oh, well, Tyrone might have league promotion already wrapped up, so maybe Cork might be able to win that game. But now it could actually be the other way around. Like, maybe, you know, Cork might have a league final to worry about. They might have promotion already wrapped up, and maybe that could help Tyrone. But let's not forget as well, like, Tyrone are also playing, I think, Armagh in the preliminary round game as well. So it's not looking good for Tyrone. Yeah. It's very unusual, because even like looking at it, they actually, like, Darren McCurry, according to Score Beyond now, we'll see obviously the highlights later, but Darren McCurry and Ethan Jordan came off the bench. Like, that's not a bad bench to have. Like, when you look at Tyrone's depth, like Rory McCullough as well, who was outstanding obviously in the Tyrone Club Championship, you'd Rory Canavan coming off the bench, you'd Rory Brennan. Like, when you look at Tyrone's squad, like when you look at Tyrone's squad there on paper, and, for example, you look at a Dublin squad or a Monaghan squad, like, Tyrone squad looks far more enticing, appealing, the players that they have. But, yeah, it's baffling where it's going wrong. Like, I think we would all agree that Malachy O'Rourke's a top-class manager for what he's done and what he's achieved so far in the game. So it is very unusual to understand what's happening there.
Yeah, certainly. Peter here asking, were Tyrone ever in Division 3 and A2, saying he'd usually slag us for the predictions, but no one could have seen this coming, and I do agree. Could you imagine the atmosphere at Tyrone Armagh if they both get relegated? Imagine if Armagh have gone down to Division 2 and Tyrone have gone down to Division 3.
And that would be Tyrone confirmed in the talent. Imagine Armagh beat Tyrone and Tyrone were relegated.
Oh my God. I haven't even clocked that. Oh my God, that would be a new level of spice to the game. Yeah, they'd knock you out with Sam Maguire. Unbelievable. Liam, I'm going to put these 2 games together for yourself, because one of them is slightly painful. It is your own county losing to Derry, 225 to 8 points in Celtic Park. But I'm going to put it in with this game to make it a little bit easier to talk about, which is Cavan beating Kildare 16 points to 13 in Breffni Park. A huge win for the Breffni men. They're off the board. And Paddy Lynch, of course, main man, bagged 9 points for the visitors.
Yeah, you said you needed a drink. I might need a drink as well, to be honest with you. Yeah, I was up in Derry last night commentating on this, which I have to say, first of all, look, the people of thanks. But look, no, the people of Derry are lovely. We got great hospitality up there, and the people running the GA grounds, everything, such nice people. Would go back again 100%, and I do wish them luck for the rest of the league campaign, to be fair. But this was just an annihilation of the highest order. It took us until the 17th minute to get a score on the board. Our 2 best players for me arguably were Keith O'Neill and Jordan Hayes. Shock from absolutely nobody to hear that. Like, Keith O'Neill tried his best. He got a couple of nice scores, was trying things as well. We're probably not playing him in the right position. We're kind of trying to make him be creator, scorer, and, you know, like, try to do everything in a half forward line. He's probably better off just being in corner forward, where he's closer to goal, albeit at the same time, I'd also argue he's excellent at shooting from long range as well. So I don't know what to do there with him. But look, Derry were unreal. There's no point shading it. They were absolutely sensational. Brendan Rodgers, Shane McGuigan, Paul Cassidy, just to name the 3 of those off the top of my head, were absolutely sensational. They had 5 2-pointers by half time. Like they were just the Dohertys, every Doherty that was on that pitch. I think every 10 seconds I was just saying Doherty. And I wasn't even bothered to say their first names because I was just like, may as well just say Doherty and let the people at home guess which one it was. But I was an annihilation. 217 to 3 points at halftime is just,
yeah.
Look, I'm never going to have a go at these players personally because at the end of the day, they're giving up their lives to play for us. And I do appreciate that. But at the end of the day, look, it was embarrassing. There's no point sugarcoating it, to put up that kind of a scoreline. It kind of felt like it was coming to a degree because, look, Matthew might even agree with me here. Cork sort of took their foot off the pedal against us. You could have easily beaten us by more if you wanted to. I feel like the scoreline was a bit kind to us. The Kildare scoreline was kind to us. The Louth one, I wasn't at the game, so I can't fully judge, but I don't think we did too bad in that one. But it felt like an annihilation was coming. And whether Derry maybe felt as well with the Mickey Hart situation, maybe they wanted to put out a statement as well. But yeah, it's not looking good for us. Look, relegation is firmly on the cards now for us. We won't beat Tyrone on Saturday, in my opinion. I might be at that game. I'll have to wait and see just how things go with work and everything. But we won't beat Tyrone next week. I can't see us beating Cavan after today. And against Meath, again, with them losing today, I was maybe thinking if they were to beat Cork today and they had promotion sort of sorted, maybe we could catch them, potentially get a few bodies back. That's things where we have a lot of bodies out, but who doesn't? They didn't have Conor Glass yesterday. Do you know what I mean? And it was one thing that impressed me about Derry. They got 2 black cards and a red card against Kildare. There was no ill discipline from them last night. So look, well done to Derry. Super team, super hospitality and everything. But for us, yeah, things aren't looking good. And I was a very sad man. I got to see 12 different counties though yesterday going up and down. So that was good. But exploring the country. But tough evening for us. And in terms of Cavan, Kildare, I suppose that softens the blow a small bit seeing Kildare lose, but sorry, Peter. But Paddy Lynch, I mean, what more can you say about him? Absolutely sensational from him. 3 arcs in this game. Absolutely unbelievable from him. You had Darren McVitie who scored 2 points as well. You had Gerard Smith who contributed with a point from wing back as well. I heard he was very, very good, as was Oisin Brady. So, yeah, that's a savage win for Kildare, or for Cavan, I should say. For Kildare, disappointing, I have to say, and especially after, look, when you think about it, 2 black cards and a red card against Derry, they probably should have gone on and won that game, and especially having home advantage as well. They beat us and they got a draw with Tyrone, but they do have some tough games to finish off this league campaign. They could potentially be in the running for relegation as well. I'm not going to sit here and say now that they are, because I think other than us, realistically at the moment, I don't know who else is going to go down, to be honest with you, to Division 3. But yeah, it's a bad result for Brian Flanagan's side. A black card as well did not help their cards with Park Spillane either. So a very bad evening for them. But credit to Cavan, great win for them.
Yeah, absolutely, very, very good win for Cavan, and they are on the board now. But yeah, that is Division 2 wrapped up. We're going to move on now to Division 3. And Aaron, I'm going to let you take the wheel for this and lead the charge with one eye on the clock, because we've passed into an hour and we still have a lot to get through. So Division 3's round 4 then. Aaron, Westmeath beat Fermanagh by 126 to 2 goals and 11 points in Cusack Park. Clare beat Laois by 24 points to 215 in Port Keysog. Sligo beat Limerick by 118 to 115 in Markovich Park. And Down got an impressive away win by 129 to 119 over Wexford in Wexford Park. What's your thoughts on round 4 of Division 3?
Yeah, I suppose there's probably not really many big shocks there. Sligo and Limerick probably could have went either way. Downey expected to be Wexford, and they did fairly comfortably. Interesting enough with Westmeath Fermanagh, I was keeping an eye on this game on Score BO, and Fermanagh actually had a bit of a lead on Westmeath at one point. I think they were 4 or 5 points up. And then you look at the full-time score, and Westmeath completely turned it around towards the end of the game. So massive win from a Westmeath perspective. Completely keeps their promotion charge alive. Luke Loughlin scoring 1-4, Brian Cooney with 7 points as well. And even from looking at it here, a range of different scores in that game. And yeah, big result for Clare as well, which probably gives them a good chance now, at least, of staying afloat in terms of any relegation worries. That's 4 points on the board, and maybe they can think about maybe sneaking back into the promotion race on Cleary there with 10 points. So yeah, 4 interesting results.
Did we all get a clean sweep correct on the predictions on this? I'm pretty sure we did.
I predicted a draw for Sligo Limerick, so unfortunately not.
I think I predicted Limerick to win.
Okay, Matthew, me and you get a clean sweep.
I think so. I definitely did. Anyway.
There we go. Who says we don't know what we're talking about? A lot of people.
Me and Aaron clearly don't know what we're on about, so it's all right.
Direct all hate comments for next week towards these two. We're off the clock. Mickey Connors here saying, can Wexford still have a chance of promotion out of Division 3? To be honest, I think it's going to be hard for anybody to pip in above Westmeath and down. Like, I wouldn't rule Wexford out particularly. I think they did look good in patches. It seems anyway. I didn't see the game against Down. Obviously, there was no way of watching it, but just reading Ratch reports, seems like it was competitive for long parts of the game. But yeah, I can't see anybody getting past Down and Westmeath into those top two places. Mikey here saying every team from 3rd to 7th is still in the promotion hunt and relegation battle, and that's why we love Division 3 and Division 2, because they are so cutthroat at both ends. Matthew, I'm going to go to you for Division 4. In round 4 of Division 4, we had Carlow keeping their 100% record intact, beating Waterford 126 to 15 points in Cullen Park. Wicklow also beat London by 226 to 16 points in Ockram. Antrim went away to Pork Sean McDermott and beat Leitrim by 220 to 115, while Longford continued their resurgence, beating Tipperary 115 to 16 points in Pearse Park.
I think Longford Tipperary was a draw, Seamus. It was 115 to 18 points, but
score beyond then.
Yeah, I'm looking at GA League tables, and but if that was a draw between Longford and Tipperary, it's a good result for both of them to keep the promotion. Yeah, it's a good result for them to keep the promotion. Chances alive, Carlo, absolutely sensational. 4 wins from 4, can't really complain about that. Chris Blake and Colin Hulton are definitely in brilliant form for them as well. Conor Crowley, wing forward as well. Wicklow, absolutely thumping London. Kevin Quinn was brilliant in this one, 1-5. And finally, Antrim are on the board. We didn't think they'd win this weekend, but lo and behold, they win it. And this weekend, Dominic McInerney was brilliant in this game for Antrim to get them off the board. I don't know, like they're 4 points off promotion. I think promotion's out of the cards now for Antrim. It's just about gaining a bit of positivity towards the Tailteann Cup and the Ulster Championship, if there is any chance in that. But look, he had a Carlo probably up, and then you would imagine Wicklow, Longford, Tipp, Leitrim, one of them 4 will go up as well.
We've a comment in here, a funny comment from Aaron saying, well, lads, great to listen to your prediction. The Division 3 table now, great win for the banner. We did say Clare would finish 5th, and currently they are 5th. But we'll see how it goes. I'm only messing with Jan. And we're going to move on to the next games. Lads, anything to mention about Division 4 before we wrap up and move on?
No, I'm all good.
Oh, good stuff. I do think as well, for clarification, I do think if anybody's going to move in above Westmeath and down, and if I was going to pick one that could be caught, I would pick that Westmeath could be caught. I do think that Clare are probably, I think, in my personal opinion, the most likely to go in above them. But I think they're more likely than Sligo and more likely than Wexford. It's just, I think that top 2 of down Westmeath is going to be very, very, very hard to dislodge. But anyway, that is the men's football divisions wrapped up. We're going to move on now to the LGFA, and we had round 4 across the board in the LGFA match. I'm going to go straight back to you with this one. Kerry versus Cork in Austin Stack Park. I think this one for me is the result of the weekend from the LGFA divisions. Cork going away to Kerry and beating them 16 points to 8. Absolutely incredible result.
Geez, we're proving that football isn't extinct in Cork across the board, aren't we? We're top of Division 1 of the LGFA. We're top of the Division 2 with the men's football as well. Life's good. But to be fair, I didn't expect this Cork LGFA team to do as well as they did, to be fair. I said along with G lads, I thought they'd go down with Kildare. And especially after drawing an MTU in the first round. But I looked at half-time at this game, and it was 14 points to 0 to Cork. And I was like, I looked at the Scorpio, and I was thinking, that's surely not right. Kerry losing by 14 points at half-time in Tralee, that doesn't sound right. But there must have been some wind, I'd say, up there. But But look, it was a brilliant result for Cork. Katie Cork in 9 points. Grace Burke, who has performed very well, and chipped in with 2 points in this one as well. The likes of Amy Corcoran have really impressed me at wing back as well. And it's just shocking that we're top of Division 2. I didn't expect us to be top at this stage of the league campaign. Like Joe Carroll has been talking about getting enough points to keep us in Division 1. I wonder, with the form we're on at the moment, could a league final be on the cards?
Yeah. And what were the key things in this game and getting over the line?
Well, obviously, I was at the Meath game, so I didn't watch this game in full, but look at Scorpio and look at other match reports and things like that. I think it was just keeping Kerry at arm's length throughout it. Like, there were 14 points to nil up at half-time, as unexpected as it was. And Cork just kept that consistency going. The likes of Katie Cork kept her form up. You had the players coming in off the bench, the likes of Abigail Ring, to add more dynamism to the forward line as well. So, to be fair, it's a good result for Cork. The younger players are really stepping up to the fore as well. The likes of Mauro Callan are coming back slowly but surely into the team as well after injury. I didn't expect us to start like a train like this, but it's just absolutely incredible in its own right. And the fact that Hannah Looney and now Aoife Healy will head down in the next few weeks to AFLW and still we're churning out results like this. Libby Coppinger is only playing Camogie this year. We're still churning out results like this, which is a real positive. And maybe it's just more of a positive camp this year from a Cork point of view. Maybe it's just the fact that many people would have discounted Cork. And probably rightly so, considering the way they lost to Dublin in the All-Ireland quarter-final last year. But yeah, they start off really well, and maybe the performance level, if they keep this up, they could do very well in the All-Ireland. I know Waterford and Kerry are very good in Munster this year. I know Waterford lost today, but they're flying in their own right. But yeah, it's good times for Cork at the moment.
And Cork, there's no question about it. They're moving in the right direction. When you look at who Cork have beaten so far in this division, to beat Galway and to beat Kerry, it's really, really impressive stuff from them now so far. Gerard Ogogrechan here, he says, late in, should have gotten my 2 cents on the Clare versus Kildare, a game I was at. Well, Jared, don't worry, we haven't covered the hurling yet. That is going to be the next code that we move to after we finish the LGFA. So please do let us know about the game, everything like that, anything that we should discuss in particular from it. The next game we're going to move to, Liam, Waterford losing their 100% record. Meath going away to Waterford in Dungarvan and beating them by a goal and 9 to 10 points.
Yeah, nothing against Meath, but this makes me sad just because I like this Waterford team, and I was kind of hoping that they'd go through the entire campaign unbeaten. But yeah, look, a fantastic win for me. There's no question about that. And what's even more impressive is that they won this game and Emma Duggan didn't even score. That's even more impressive, to be honest with you. So they were obviously able to get some scores from elsewhere. Rachel Casserly getting 3 points, Orla Finnegan getting the goal for them, Marion Farley getting 2 points as well. So that's a fantastic win to get over Waterford, especially away from home as well. So yeah, look, look, I wouldn't be too worried if I was a Waterford player or supporter tonight. Look, they've started off this league campaign like a house on fire. Look, you're going to have slip-ups along the way, so I wouldn't be losing too much sleep over it. But yeah, look, it's a fantastic win for Meath, and it's very impressive from them, to be fair, to get a big win over Dublin, to get a win here. They're moving along kind of nicely at the moment. They're going sort of under the radar, which maybe they might not mind to a degree, to be honest with you. It's not a bad response after obviously losing the All-Ireland final in the fashion that they did last year. But yeah, no, a great win for Meath. For Waterford, like I said, I wouldn't be too fussed about this defeat. They've been moving very well so far this season. You're going to get bumps along the way, but yeah, great win for Meath, and to do it without the likes of Emma Duggan getting the score is very, very impressive.
Absolutely so. And in other news for Leinster counties, Dublin finally got off the board. Dublin 3-5, Kildare 1-8 in Parnell Park. Big win for the Dubs. Michelle Davern, Kate Sullivan, Ellen Gribben all hit the back of the net, while Aoife Mernon got the goal for Kildare. But the Dubs getting over the line in this one, Aaron. And also a little piece of history, Niamh Heatherton became the first Dubs LGFA player to land a 2-pointer in this game. It seems that the conditions weren't really favourable to the game, but the reality is the job needed to be done, and we've got off the board.
Absolutely, we have, yeah. And it was a slow enough start. Like Kildare were the better team. Probably in the first half, they were actually 4 points up at 1 point. And you were kind of thinking Dublin are staring down the barrel of relegation. But yeah, we came good in the second half. Substitutes made a big difference. Carla Rowe came back, scored 2 points. Ellen Gribben got a goal as well. And even Elsa Kearney got on the score sheet as well. So it was a big win in the end for Dublin to keep our hopes of survival alive. Looking at how the league is panning out, like, interesting enough, we were talking about with the men's football, it's going to come down to Dublin and Armagh. So looking like it's going to be similar in the ladies' football as well. So there's going to be 2 relegation playoffs potentially between both counties. But yeah, big to get the victory and get the win, and get 3 points on the board.
Peter here saying Aoife Murnan, best player in Kildare last year. Maynooth's best player as well. Liam, thrown over to you for this game. Galway getting back on the winning table again in Duggan Park, beating Armagh 3 goals and 11 points to 15 points. So they continue their winning as well. This game was live, of course, on TG Cahir. Leanne Cohen hit the back of the net twice, and Andrea Trill also got on the score sheet as well for the tribeswomen. So now in Division 1, you've got Galway flying along, Waterford, although they did lose this week. Apart from that, they're 100%. Cork as well have been moving really sharply. Who do you fancy to get into the Division 1 final this year? Because some teams, like notably Armagh, were in the final last year. They don't look like they're going to be there. Dublin, even though they won today, have had a slow start otherwise to their league campaign. Who do you fancy to get into the final this year at this stage?
I would say Waterford and Galway. Cork have a big chance, no doubt about it. But I just have a feeling Waterford will regroup after this defeat to Meath, and I think Galway are very strong at the moment. I can't see Kerry pushing too hard to try and get to a league final. I can't imagine it's like on top of their radar, or it's not something that they're going to lose sleep over if they don't get to, much like the men's side. So I would say probably Galway and Waterford to probably make the league final at the moment. That could all change, in the next couple of weeks or whatever, but I would say them at the moment. I'm sort of raging because I did say there'd be 3 goals from Galway. My problem was I said it'd be scored by Roisin Leonard. She got 4 points, so she still did very well. But unfortunately, my prediction of maybe she saw it and she just said, "No, I'm not doing that." But no, Leanne Cohen, like you said, and Andrea Trill getting the goals instead. But no, great win for Galway. To be fair to Armagh, it's not like losing by 5 points away to Galway is not exactly a terrible result, and to put up 15 points is still very impressive. But I would say Galway and Waterford for the time being, but I wouldn't be writing off Cork, especially with the momentum they have behind them at the moment.
Yeah, there's no question. Cork going away to Kerry and beating them by double scores, absolutely the highlight result from the weekend of the LGFA leagues this week. Like for Cork, a lot of people were tipping them to be in a relegation battle, even to go down, some people were saying. But to get a result like they did against Galway, to beat Kerry by double scores, they've done really well so far and proved that their trajectory is on the up. But anyway, we're going to move on now to Division 2. Matthew, I'm going to throw it back over to yourself. What happened in round 4, Division 2? Donegal were beaten at home by Cavan by 1-6 to 7 points in Ballyshannon. Tyrone and Mayo drew at Healy Park 2-7 to 110. Tipperary and Monaghan also drew 1-12 each in Clonmel, while Westmeath went away to Wexford and beat them by 4-10 to 113 in Enniscorthy.
Yeah, some interesting results in this weekend. Obviously, Tyrone and Mayo was the standout, considering both sides would have been considered promotion favourites. Tyrone were leading for most of this game. Cara McNamee and Saoirse Gormley got the goals for Tyrone, but fair play to Mayo with Lisa Cafferty and Sinead Walsh getting crucial scores to level it for them. Lisa Cafferty getting the goal, so well done to Mayo for getting a point out of that game. Comeback of the weekend may have to go to Monaghan in the LGFA. They were 1-11 to a point down at half time against Tipperary, and they came back to draw 1-12 apiece. I think that is definitely an unreal comeback, and a lot of people talk about the men's comebacks in terms of the new rules. To score 1 point in the first half and to come back and draw the game, I think it's a sensational result. So fair play to Monaghan for that. Cavan beating Donegal is quite the shock, considering Donegal have won, I think, all their opening games so far up to this weekend. Niamh Keenan getting the goal for Cavan, and Ashley Sheridan really performing well from a Cavan point of view as well. Good win there. And Westmeath beating Wexford in Leinster Derby 4-10 to 113. It was a very good result for Westmeath. I'm bringing up the table there. I'd imagine it's Donegal, Mayo and Tyrone up at the top there, but I'm just going to double check it here. But Donegal, that was a shock result that Cavan got today, to be fair to them. So some very good results this weekend in the LGFA and Division 2. But a long way to go in the league campaign. There's only 3 games left to go.
Absolutely, and it is heating up week after week. Before we move on to the next games, running through the rest of the results. So Division 3's round 4 also took place, and the results that happened in Division 3's round 4. Let me just get them up real quick before we move. So Antrim beat Fermanagh by 4-10 to 2-10. Clare beat Laois by 4-7 to 2-11. Down beat Roscommon by 1-12 to 2-4, and Louth beat Limerick by 2-7 to 5 points at the integral GA grounds. And then round 5 of Division 4 saw Sligo defeat Kilkenny on a heavy scoreline. Leitrim beat Wicklow 7 goals and 16 points to Wicklow's 2 goals, another heavy scoreline. Carlow hammered Derrydale 4-12 to 1-7 at set 2 Carlow, while Offaly versus Longford was cancelled or postponed, whichever way you want to put it. Now, that is the LGFA wrapped up, and we're going to move on next to the Division 1A hurling clashes. And my God, we had some crazy ones here to look through. And we're going to start off with the clash of Tipperary and Limerick. And by God, Tipperary 21 points, Limerick 36 points in Semple Stadium. A chastening day for Tipperary, it has to be said, losing to Limerick by 15 points in Semple Stadium. And the reality is now, Tipperary, as All-Ireland champions, they have that target on their back now going into next season. Limerick, having not won the All-Ireland since 2023, they are no longer the hunted, they are the hunters. And in this game, they have really put out a statement win. It was a superb performance by Limerick. Liam, I'll go to you for this.
Yeah, if you ever want to, for anyone who is looking at writing off Limerick, I mean, just don't. Just absolutely don't. I saw a bunch of their players in the Fitzgibbon Cup final last weekend, and I came away from that, and my father even agreed with me, and we said, Limerick are not going anywhere. Simple as that. They are hungry, and they're determined to get back on top of Ireland and try and get back on top of Munster as well. It's going to make Munster Championship really interesting now. I'm actually so looking forward to the hurling season now after yesterday. Look, Tipperary, I suppose it's a bit of a wake-up call to a degree. That's not a great result from them. Like, from their starting full forward line, which is a very talented full forward line in Darren McCarthy, Jake Morris and Keneally, they got 2 points for play. McCarthy's, all of his points came from frees. I mean, obviously, it's his job to put the ball over the bar from frees, so I suppose nothing wrong with that. And look, in fairness to the likes of Noel McGrath, I mean, he got 6 points from wing forward. I mean, absolutely sensational return from him. Willie Connors getting sent off, not ideal in the slightest. I know it was late on in the game, but still not ideal from his perspective. Owen Connolly being back is good from their perspective, and they're trying him out at centre-back. But poor Brian O'Mara, I mean, he's a player that I still think can be the full-back for Tipperary this season. But, I mean, Shane O'Brien was just absolutely... Like, I saw him playing for Mary I last week, and I've seen him playing for Mary I over the last few years. They call him the Bull for a reason. He is just a savage player. And especially with the ball that was played in to him from Kyle Hayes, which he just caught and threw over the bar of his left-hand side. That's a sign of what he can do this season. He can cause some serious damage to a lot of full back lines over the course of this season. I think having Peter Casey, a fit Peter Casey this season, could be crucial to Limerick as well. Absolutely mammoth for them, to be honest with you. You had Aidan O'Connor getting 11 points. He was a player that I was really impressed with when I saw him last year playing for Limerick, especially when I got to see him for a couple of games in the league campaign in person. Adam English getting 2 points as well. Garrod Hegarty, probably, I heard somebody describing it, I don't know if it was last night or this morning, as more of a team player this year. And he got 2 points on the board, but it's almost like he is more of a team player at the moment, which is crucial for them. Getting Kyle Hayes is obviously back for them is obviously crucial as well. Will O'Donoghue at number 6 is an interesting position there, whether he'll stay there or maybe they'll throw Kyle Hayes back into number 6. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see as time develops. But yeah, a savage performance from Limerick. And they've put out a statement to basically say to the rest of the country, we're not going anywhere. We're still All-Ireland contenders and we want Liam McCarthy back. And I will say as well, I think the media has sort of blown the Will O'Donoghue and Patrick Horgan exchange after the match.
Yeah.
I think, like, Horgan asked a fair enough question, and O'Donoghue, even the way he answered it, you could tell it's in a joking way. Do you know what I mean?
I thought it was like, I can't tell you that.
Yeah.
Like that type. I thought that was.
Yeah.
I
But
thought
like,
he just delivered it a little bit weird.
maybe,
But-
but like the way people have been reacting to it online, I'm just like, clearly some people have just never been amongst GA players in their lives, or even professionals in their life. Like,
Yeah.
they all have banter. They all say to each other, I'm not going to tell you that. You're from Cork, I'm from Limerick. There's rivalry there. People want to grow up, to be honest with you. It's ridiculous. But yeah, no, savage from Limerick. Tipperary, I mean, it's back-to-back defeats against Cork. And I mean, 29 points against Cork, 36 points against Limerick. Liam Cahill might be a small bit worried heading into the remainder of the league campaign, especially with games against Waterford and Kilkenny to come.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Ryan here saying we defo going down. Such a bummer. Porter, who I believe is from Tipp, please correct me if I'm wrong, saying back down to earth with a bang. Limerick were brilliant. 35 points and most from play. Slightly embarrassing. Don't think it was shadow boxing from Tipp. No Keen Lynch. Also, Peter says Limerick doing Limerick things. Tipp traditionally don't do well the season after an All-Ireland win. Connor's a hothead, to be fair. Ryan here saying, lads, what did you think of Willie Connors' red card? I haven't seen too many people saying that he didn't deserve to go. Like, I don't know. I feel like, what do you think, Matthew?
When you get involved in that right from the throw in, you're asking for trouble.
Yeah.
I don't think Willie can have any complaints about that red card, to be fair. And as Peter said, he has been a hothead. Maybe in the Cork game he was kind of lucky not to get more than what he got as well. Like he does have this tendency to go into tackles and needlessly put the hurl in and things like that. And it was concerning from Willie Connor's point of view as well. I think. Look, Liam did mention that Tipp only scored 2 points from play for the full forwards throughout the entire game. They only scored 2 points from play in the first half overall, the whole team.
Yeah.
And that was really, really concerning from a Tipperary point of view as well. And Limerick were just absolutely playing with them. Like, Limerick had 50 shots in this one. I know you could say it was shadow boxing, but to concede 50 shots inside 70 minutes, that's incredibly worrying. And for Limerick scored 36 points as well, 72% shot accuracy. I think out of turnovers, they had a really big amount as well. I think it was over 20 points off turnovers as well, which was absolutely incredible in his own right. Yeah, I think it was 25 points out of turnover ball from Limerick. That's nuts. Like 19 points from turnovers, just normally, and 6 points off tip puckouts. I know that's good pressure from Limerick, and you have to credit them for that. But you have to question the intensity from Tipperary last night. Maybe like they just weren't at the races. Maybe they were kind of expecting to. They were kind of getting off Limerick players and letting them shoot. Like, how many times did we see in the first half Aidan O'Connor take a shot from the middle of the pitch? Or even the Al O'Neill. Like, it was like pot shots. It was almost like practice from a Limerick point of view, which was concerning from Tipperary standpoint as well. I would absolutely agree what Liam is saying about Stephen or Shane O'Brien. Absolutely brilliant. 6 points from play, 100% shot accuracy, 6 points in assists. That's 12 points in contributions. That's just nuts. Like, he's just an unbelievable hurler. Adam English contributed 1-8 in his last 2 games as well. That's 111 in score contributions. Aidan O'Connor has been absolutely sensational in this league campaign. 11 out of 14 shots, 79% yesterday as well. Like, Limerick are going very, very well at this present moment of time. Like, 72% shot accuracy last night, 65 against Kilkenny, 83% puck retention against Tipperary, 70% against Kilkenny. These aren't fluky numbers. These are numbers that show this Limerick team ain't going anywhere. And that defeat against Dublin, while it was a shock, that wasn't the end of this Limerick team. They still have players coming through the ranks, and they look as dangerous as ever this year.
Yeah, I would be terrified to run into them again, to be honest, because they're moving really, really well. Aaron, your game out of Division 1A was the clash of Kilkenny versus Waterford. Kilkenny 121, Waterford 120 at Nolan Park. Cian Kenny's late free separated the sides in a real arm wrestle, it's fair to say, in Nolan Park, but ultimately the Cats get out with the points.
Yeah, absolutely. A big win in the end for Kilkenny, especially looking at the league table as well. Like, if Kilkenny had lost this game, then all of a sudden they're kind of looking over their shoulders a little bit. So yeah, massive win. Mossy Keown scoring 1-2. Lee Moore getting on the score sheet with 2 points as well. Owen Cody. I think the big thing from Kilkenny in this game was that they got a good spread of scores in the game. which is something that we criticised them for in the last game, saying that maybe there was a bit of an over-reliance on Owen Cody and different things like that. Jordan Malloy, I thought, played very well. David Blanchfield was outstanding as well, to be fair. And I think defensively, Kilkenny deserve massive credit. They kept Ruben Halloran down to a single point, which was very impressive from a Kilkenny perspective. And yeah, obviously Kilkenny, Waterford, big rivals as well. And look, Kilkenny had to dig deep towards the end of the game with a couple of late frees from Cian Kenny. But yeah, I think Kilkenny will be delighted with it because, as we were saying there, like to have lost in the manner that they did versus Limerick, and look, considering how well Limerick were against Tipperary, as we're saying, like maybe it's not that big of a slight on Kilkenny considering how well they played versus Tipperary. But yeah, just a big win and disappointing one for Waterford. But to be fair, look, going away to Kilkenny and losing by a point in the league, like it's not the complete end of the world, I don't think.
Yeah, I think it's one of those games where, look, even though Waterford came out the wrong side of the result, their performance was very good. Cats just about survived. Peter says one that the data left behind. Think the Cats will struggle for the season ahead. I think it's one that they could say maybe they left behind. Interestingly, Peter Cúilín kind of hinted that the free was maybe on the softer side. But yeah, ultimately, they don't get anything from this game. Liam, I'm sorry I'm doing this to you, but Offaly 18 points, Galway 223 in St. Brendan's Park. What did you make of this one? This was one obviously highlighted as a potential winnable game, but I mean, you were given a flat start with the injuries and everything like that. But what did you make from this one?
Yeah, the general opinion from some people is that, Offaly didn't do too bad. The opinion from other people is that Offaly were not good at all. Look, my opinion on it is, look, I thought first half it was a dreadful game of hurling altogether, to be honest. It was 9-6 at half time. Look, there was a very strong wind there. Galway missed a heap of chances, poked a lot of balls wide, and especially ones that were relatively simple enough chances by their perspectives or standards. We started off well, went 3 points to 1 in front early on, but Galway's movement, look, kind of mixed in with a lot of our poor marking, kind of opened the game up a small bit, and Galway were able to get a bit of a foothold in the game. We had chances in the game to maybe either go in front again or close the gap a small bit, but we just never took them. I'd say the two big positives out of today is the fact that we've got both Cillian Sampson and Donald Shirley back, and I have to say Cillian Sampson as centre back, absolutely unbelievable, savage. He had a brilliant, like, I'm saying that with the fact that Cathal Mannion himself was absolutely savage, but that wasn't down to, say, Cillian Sampson being poor and like that. Sampson had a very, very good game at centre back, and we've needed him back, to be honest with you. Just a big towering presence who's well able to hurl, is able to scan everything around him. He's a top quality player, and we needed him back badly. Cathal King went off with 15-20 minutes to go. I hope that's nothing serious anyway, because Jesus, if he went down, that'd be disastrous for us. He was brilliant again today. Like, he's a player. Like, I sometimes think, you look at players on our team and you think, right, who can actually play at this level? And Cathal King is one of them. And if he was to go down, or if we were to, I'll be honest with you, if we were to miss him against, say, Yee in the championship, I'd be very worried, to be honest with you. We need him against you, especially with like the players you have, the Corks and the Donahues in midfield, etc., or even Donald Burke at centre forward. These types of players. We need players like him to be able to stand up against them. Turgainen had good moments in the middle of the park as well. Adam Screeney got 2 points from play as well, contributed a couple of frees as well. Magically, he also won a high ball as well with a clean catch. So, I mean, there you go. Who says he can't catch a ball? Look, there were some positive performance today. Brian Dignan had a good second half. But look, overall, Galway were the better side. There's no point sugarcoating it. Jason Rabbit had a savage game of full forward. Cathal Mannion was just doing what Cathal Mannion does, to be honest with you, strolling around and putting the ball over the bar at his absolute ease. And look, overall, Micheál Donoghue said afterwards he wouldn't be happy with a lot of aspects of the game. There was a pitch inspection this morning to see whether Burr would be able to host the game, and they got there in the end, which was good from their perspective. Look, relegation is firmly on the cards, and as you mentioned, you'd be terrified to meet Limerick again. Guess who their next opponents are? Offaly next Sunday. I might be taking next weekend off, Lance, Tyrone football and Limerick and Hurling. You might not see me next weekend, but in all seriousness, no. Look, there's positives to take. I will say that we are going down realistically, but I'm a bit more positive with the hurlers at the moment than I would be with the footballers. There's things to work on, of course, and we do need to get players back. But overall, considering the players that we do have out at the moment, I'm sort of relatively happy enough where we are going forward towards. Look, the main goal is the Dublin game and the Wexford games and all that. So look, it could have been a lot worse, could have been a bit better, but look, I think overall after the 4 games, even though we've no points, I don't think we've done as badly as people probably anticipated.
Yeah, I think you've battled away in every game, and it hasn't been a situation where you've been the whipping boys of the division or anything like that. So, yeah, definitely positives to be taken. And when you have to factor in the injuries and the players that have been missing as well, right from the beginning, whether it's Charlie Mitchell being injured or the Ravenhills with their injuries and everything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, the Ravenhills were both out today. Dan, I think, done his hamstring. Ross got a bad hit against Waterford and had concussion protocol, which is good to see. I'm actually glad to see that they're taking this sort of stuff seriously now as well. I don't know when Charlie Mitchell's going to be back, or if he'll be back at all for the league, or if he'll even be back for the championship match against Dublin. But from what I hear, he's progressing well enough, which is good to hear. But look, we'll see how the next one goes.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to move on to Division 1B now, and we're going to move on to this clash, Aaron, that myself and yourself were both at. And what a game this was. Dublin 4-19, Wexford 3 goals and 22 points in Croke Park. Arguably the most important game of Division 1B this season between Dublin and Wexford to see who is in the driving seat to get promoted along with Clare up to Division 1A. And it did not disappoint. This game between Dublin and Wexford had everything. Unbelievable goals, mad referee decisions, penalties on both sides, black cards, red cards, scuffles, Gardaí getting involved. It had the whole lot. And in the end, it finishes a draw with the late equaliser from Chris Crummy. Wow, this was a brilliant game.
Yeah, it was a mental game of hurling, to be honest with you. Like, as you said, had absolutely everything from penalties saved, black cards, red cards. Like, yeah, the drama was really off the charts, to be honest with you. It was a mad game. Like, obviously with Conor Gork's red card, obviously you were a bit closer to it. I was on the hill, so I'll need to see the kind of the replays back. The second yellow did feel a little bit strange because he, like as you said, I think he was in possession of the ball, he lost it, and then he commits the foul after, isn't it?
He was in possession. His arm was pulled back as he went to hand pass it, and that knocked him off balance. So the hand pass went away. He was fouled, and then he kind of ran in to try and get the ball back, and he probably did foul the Wexford player. But I don't think the foul on the Wexford player was bad enough to get a yellow. And I also think it's fouled before he made the hand pass, as I said. So he should have got the free before he committed it. And I just felt for him because it's his first start for Dublin in the league. And he was playing really well. He got on the score sheet. He was working his socks off. And then he gets a red card that I thought was pretty harsh. But I think let's stick with the positives. Like, talking about the positives, the leading of the positives is Owen O'Donnell's back, and he looks like he hasn't lost a step. He did a great job on Lee Chin. John Heatherton's goal was unbelievable, rattled the back of the net. I mean, the thing is, even when we go down to 14 players, you need to put 2 people on Hedgel. Because if you leave him in there full forward on his own with a fullback, he'll take most fullbacks in the country. And that goal was sensational.
Absolutely, it was. Yeah, and to be honest, our fight back, our spirit, towards the end of the game, I think it was commendable. Like, to be down to 13 men. There was another stage in the game we were down to 13 men because we had a black card as well, like before Paddy Smith's red card. So, at one stage as well, we saved a penalty as well from Sean Brennan. Like, our fight back and our spirit, I think to be down 2 players, going down the home stretch and to find a way to work that score for Chris Crummy was unbelievable. And as you said, John Heatherton, again, we kept floating it in on top of him, and at times it was kind of a bit like I could understand why we were doing it, but also Wexford had the spare man, so there was 2 players around John Heatherton at different stages. But when he did get the ball, you could see the damage that he was going to do, and he was absolutely brilliant in regards to that. I think Donald Burke deserves massive credit as well. 1-9, he scored, stepped up and slotted the penalty brilliantly. Brian Hayes around the middle was outstanding as well. We dug deep and in the end get the draw, which keeps it alive. And look, we will be relying a little bit on Clare to do us a favour. We'll see obviously what happens in regards to that when they play Wexford. We obviously do have a game in hand on Wexford as well because we were idle a couple of weeks ago. So look, it is still alive. Look, Wexford will take positives in their performance as well, like Kevin Foley and Simon Roach both played well.
They
But yeah,
should have, though. Like, they really should have closed it out. Not being in the stands, they were driving the ball along into the contest, and I'm like, lads, you have a man extra. What he is doing? Like,
Yeah,
and then Richie Lawler came back on. They had 2 men extra, and they were still driving the ball along into contest. And I'm like, you need to be spraying this ball around. Short passes, make Dublin work. Why are you hitting long ball into the full back line in on top of people like Owen O'Donnell, who's probably going to win it? Very much playing into our hands going down the home stretch. Interestingly as well, on the sideline, passions were high between Neil O'Callaghan and Keith Rossiter. They got right in each other's face coming towards the end of the game. Great passion on show by both Keith Rossiter and Neil O'Callaghan, both, going out there and getting involved for their team. And fair play to both of them as well. They shook hands at the end and kind of left it there. And the confrontation at the end of the game, from the angles I've seen, it doesn't seem like there was anything malicious, but it was a lot of shoving and a lot of squaring up and stuff like that. And I think that's just laying down the gauntlet for the Leinster Championship, because that game between Dublin and Wexford will most likely be crucial for who gets out of the Leinster Championship. You would imagine Kilkenny and Galway are going to be in there again. But if Dublin and Wexford want to jump into that Leinster final, they're going to have to beat each other, and they know that. So that's why this game takes on that extra edge and that rivalry. We love to see it. We're going to move on then. The next game in Division 1B, Ger, if you're still with us, we'd love to get your take on this. Clare, 27 points. Kildare, 3-14 in St. Conleth's Park. Matthew, a good win for Clare on the road against a tricky opponent.
Yeah, to be fair, I didn't think Kildare would put up much of a test to this Clare side, but yeah, it was a brilliant performance from Kildare. They were ahead at half time. A lot of people are talking about, is it a typo or whatever, but it just shows strides that Kildare have made in hurling, to be fair, over the last few seasons. Like Jack Sheridan got 2-4 in this one. Carl McCabe got the goal as well from a Kildare point of view, but ultimately it was class that shone from Clare's viewpoint. Tony Kelly getting 8 points from play, Mark Rogers 7 points, Ryan Taylor and Sen and Dunford getting 3 points each as well. To be fair, Sen and Dunford, from looking at the match reports and everything, seems like a decent player. Ger might know more about him than all of us would, but it's promising from a Clare point of view that they are emphasising the youth in many ways, and they are bringing in these players. But to be fair, the story is and should be about Kildare hurling and the way they have risen over the last few seasons. To put up a test like that to Clare, they deserve a lot of credit for that, and Brian Dowling deserves credit. And to be fair, anybody that has done work in Kildare hurling at the underage has done a lot of work there as well. So yeah, it's a good result for Clare to get out of Dodge, I suppose, with a win. But the story has to be about the rise of Kildare hurling in this one.
Absolutely. And Liam, the final game then from Division 1B saw Antrim beat Carlow and get on the board 25 points to 12. This result, I have to say, I didn't see it coming. I thought the Carlow were going to get out of there with the win.
Yeah, I was the same. To the best of my knowledge, I predicted Carlow to win this game as well. And the Davy train is fully back on board. But yeah, it was a much needed win for Antrim, to be honest with you. Like, Carlow, to be fair to them, to their credit, they'd been moving relatively well, especially they got the performance against Wexford, which I thought was a very credible performance. But anything that could have gone wrong for Carlow, it was just all over the shop, to be honest with you. And look, credit to Antrim, they needed a response and they firmly got it. Conor Cunning with 4 points. James McNaughton as well was back as well. He got 2 points. Sen Elliott as well got 9 points, 3 from play. So yeah, very positive from them. Keane Malloy as well got 4 points in the middle of the park. Also, O'Connor at fullback got a point as well, so he must have been absolutely thrilled with that. But yeah, a great result for Antrim, much needed. I have a feeling they're probably still going down even with this result, but I suppose Davy needed a feel-good factor and he needed a positive result to come from somewhere. And maybe this can kick Antrim on. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, very poor result from Carlow. Look, I don't think it'll do too much damage to them. Look, going up to Cork Park is, like, whether we like it or not, it's still a very tough place to go to. But yeah, very positive result from Antrim. They'll be very pleased to have gotten away with this.
Yeah, I do agree. Division 2, then round 4, going through the rest of the games. Laois 118, Kerry 117 and O'More Park. Big win for Laois there. London were beaten by Westmeath and Ruislip. Westmeath 322, London 20 points. Meath beat Derry by 120 to 118 in Trim. And then in Division 3's round 4, Donegal beat Armagh by 118 to 19 in O'Donnell Park. Fermanagh lost to Tyrone 218 to 117 in Brewster Park, while Roscommon beat Louth by 14 points to 11 in Protection and Prosperity Louth. What a ground name. Division 4's round 4. I can see you laughing, Matthew. Cavan 220, Lancashire 215 in Breffni Park. Sligo 234, Warwickshire 3 points. And Monaghan lost to Leitrim by 119 to 111 in Grattan Park. And that was round 4 in Division 4. So that's the hurling round 4 wrapped up across the divisions. And now we move to the final code. We're nearly there, lads. 4 codes wrapped up. Please do like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. We have absolutely gone through every single game across this weekend, like we said we would. And starting off with what I think in Camogie, and just across the codes, I think is one of the results of the weekend. Liam, who would have seen this coming? Cork 111, Antrim 210 in MTU Cork. Antrim, after losing last week to Tipperary, what a result this is for Antrim. To go away to Cork, very recent, back-to-back All-Ireland champions, and to beat them after the setback they had in round 1 against Tipperary. It's an outstanding victory for the Saffrons.
Absolutely. It's an unbelievable victory for them. They'll take such belief and such optimism from this result. And especially after the way that Tipperary bet them in the opening round, this will do wonders, I think, for Antrim Camogie. Look, Matthew will know obviously more about the Cork Camogie team than I would. It probably wasn't Cork's strongest team, or maybe even near maybe their strongest team. But at the same time, that is a big, big win for Antrim. And you got to commend them for it, for getting a victory of this magnitude as well. And like, they were down with about 10 minutes to go. I believe it was Orla Cahalan who got the goal with 10 minutes to go that put the 1 point in front. But for them to then turn it around, Amy Ferris getting the goal, a great response to Cahalan's goal. I think it came about a minute or two afterwards, if I'm correct in saying that. And then they kicked on to another gear. They got the next 2 points after that before Cork tried to get a late rally, but wasn't able to manage it in the end. But yeah, I mean, to go away from home to beat Cork as well, like, that's very impressive. If they'd have beaten them at home, it still would have been very good. But similar enough to when was it Erdness that went to Kilmacud Crokes and won in the football. Yeah. This is a very, very impressive result for Antrim Camogie. And it's good to see this type of result on, like, you know, it's no offense to yourselves, Matthew, but just from a competitive perspective, it's great for Antrim Camogie that they're able to pick up a win like this and give them such belief and improve them as time goes on. But yeah, look, a great win for Antrim. Fair play to them. Congrats to them. And yeah, look, I doubt Cork will be losing too much sleep over this. They'll have bigger aspirations as the year go on. But yeah, great win for Antrim.
Absolutely sensational win for Antrim. Another huge win across the weekend. Kilkenny keep their 100% record. They beat Tipperary by 15 points to 10 in St. Lachtan's. This is a fantastic result. Asha McCarty, Aoife Prendergast, the scorers in chief for the Cats, and they continue their 100% start, Matthew.
Yeah, I'd say it's a positive start from Kilkenny point of view. Obviously, Steffi Fitzgerald got 3 points as well in this one. And it seems like Kilkenny are building a great team there with the likes of Katie Power obviously leaving the panel, likes of the Walshes retiring in the past few seasons as well. So look, Kilkenny are rebuilding, and that's a positive result for the positive 2 results after beating Galway and Tipperary, 2 sides that would have been considered up there with Cork in terms of the top 3 as well. So yeah, an excellent result for Kilkenny, an excellent start to the league campaign, and it's a good start for their season, considering this has been a team in transition over the past few seasons. So brilliant result for Kilkenny, and the likes of Ash McCarty and Sarah Barco, like, they're bringing them through. Like, it is positive for Kilkenny that they are looking to the younger generation rather than looking at the past, what many teams would do in this situation. But to be fair to Kilkenny, fantastic result.
It was an absolutely brilliant result. There is no question about that. And now we're going to run through the clashes that took place in the Camogie League's Division 1B Round 2. So Offaly went down to Limerick at home in Faithful Fields. Limerick 115, Offaly 2-9. Down beat Dublin by a goal and 10 to 10 points in Leitrim Fontenoys. Clare also beat Wexford by 15 points to 9 in Clare Abbey. And running through then round 2 in the Camogie League Division 2, Laois beat Derry by 214 to 19 in Father Breen Park. Westmeath beat Carlow by 38 to 10 points in the Centre of Excellence. And Kerry also beat Meath by 2 goals and 10 points to a goal and 11 in Trim. In Division 3A then, Kildare beat Wicklow by 16 points to a goal and a point. Armagh beat Roscommon then by 3-11 to 12 points in St. Aidan's GA in Ballyforan. And then finally, Division 3B, Mayo beat Louth by 3-11 to a goal and 10. And Louth was a team that had home advantage for that clash, while Monaghan went away to Donegal and beat them by 6-6 to 4-6. An absolutely mental scoreline, but Monaghan getting the win there. And that is all of the games reviewed and broken down. It's been a mammoth episode, but thank you so much to the lads for jumping on for the episode with me once again. If we're delusional after an hour and 15 minutes, I can't even see the screen anymore. Thank you so much to everybody for getting involved in the live chat, helping to make the episode another really enjoyable one. Go catch the last bit of League Sunday, and we'll be back, as Peter says here. He says, lads, great review show. Top class as always. Thanks a mil. Have a good week and see you Thursday at 8. Well said, Peter. And we will see you at 8 p.m. for the weekend preview show. Until then, enjoy your week. Agus Torah.
Follow your instinct, baby. Follow your instinct.